Not happy. Neither are Spurs fans. THFC Jack says, first time I've stopped watching Spurs early. Mourinho will win trophies, but he won't do it with these players. Adam Simpson says, questions for Premier League tonight. If you want to send in a question for us, #PL tonight. Why bring Bale to the club? Why leave Vinicius on the bench when Kane goes off and bring Lamela on? Why is our best defender, Toby Alderweireld, not playing in such a big game? Why play a right wing-back at left wing-back? How can you only play 2 central midfielders against Liverpool? He's asking a lot more about the manager than the individual errors this evening. The stock investor says, sum up that Tottenham performance in 3 words, not good enough. We have to remind ourselves, Jermaine, Liverpool were the team with the patched-up defence this evening, not Spurs.
Yeah, and they didn't look like that. I think that's one of the biggest compliments you can give to this Liverpool side today. I think the forward 3 will get the kind of plaudits and a lot of things will be spoken about because they haven't scored for so long and at times they look back to their best. But, you know, even when Nat Phillips came onto the pitch in the second half, you kind of looked at it and went, you know, he looks pretty solid back there. They almost got stronger.
Yeah.
So, yeah, the defensive unit that Spurs had out there, you know, individually, you know, me and Crouchy were talking, are they good enough? They're not good enough to win a title, I wouldn't say. But they're better than what they've shown today. They're much better than the mistakes that they gave up in the game today. So that would be Jose's biggest disappointment, along with the fact that I think the changes that he made at half-time had 0 impact on the game. If anything, they got worse. And you'd probably argue, well, Kane's gone off and so on and so forth, but you would still expect a better reaction from the players that came on. Lamela was non-existent, really, when he came on. So, food for thought. I think he nailed it at the end of the interview. You make big mistakes in games like that, you've got no chance. I don't think you can land too much of that at Jose's door. So I know the fans are upset about midfield and this player and that player, but if you make mistakes, you're going to lose games.
This Harry Kane one is interesting and potentially far-reaching for them. He's going to be out for a few weeks, is what we've been told. How long is a few weeks? Who knows? But the concern in the second half is how impotent they look without him on the pitch, and it's another ankle injury. That's probably 4 in the last 4 years for him.
Yeah, I mean, their injuries are a worry, a concern. I think every season, really, he seems to pick up some sort of injury. And it's even more remarkable in terms of the amount of goals that this fella gets. But
yeah, well, I mean, 68% of the goals for them this season, he's either scored or assisted.
He's got 19 goals, 14 assists, and I think, like, listen, his impact on his team will not be undervalued because of the impact he has, because he's a fantastic footballer, and they are going to miss him. And we talk about Liverpool missing Van Dijk. He would be the equivalent, definitely, of that in the Spurs team.
Well, we've also got, still at the game for us, we've got Macca and Glenn there for us. Guys, we're just talking about the subs that Jose made this evening and the fact that Kane might be out for a while. Has he got the answer to the Harry Kane problem in the squad, do you think, Glenn?
Well, I was surprised that Vinicius wasn't brought on, I've got to say. That would be the reason why you would have brought him to the club, you know, for a little bit of cover from Kane. He's done reasonably well in Europa since he's been here in the cup games, but I think it was a chance for him, and he put Lamela on and put Son down the middle, which I was scratching my head on that one because Son doesn't play so well down the middle. He likes to play from out to in. You know, with his back to play, he just didn't get him in the game second half. So, yeah, I was very surprised to see that. I thought that's the reason why Vinicius came to the club.
There's lots of people getting in touch from the Liverpool perspective, Macca. Chris has said big performance, big win, big confidence booster and hopefully a big momentum shifter. I'm a big fan of Jordan Henderson being the best new centre-back in the world. Maybe try and get another one in on loan, up the champions. Do you think that a result like this maybe makes them think twice about going for someone? Do you think they've got the answers at the back in that squad?
No, sorry to bust in there, Jake. No, I don't think, regardless of this result, I think 3 weeks ago they thought about bringing in a centre defender. I think when the transfer window opened, they wanted to bring in a centre defender because only Liverpool know how long-term Virgil van Dijk and Joe Gomez are going to be. And we know that Joel Matip's had injury problems. We know Fabinho's had injury problems this year, but we know Joel Matip in particular went off again with an injury. How fragile he's been of late. So I think it's always been on the cards that they need and wanted a centre defender. They want someone with a bit of experience because Nat Phillips and Reece Williams probably haven't got that certain amount of experience yet at this level if you want to challenge to win the Premier League and go on and challenge in the Champions League. And I certainly think they need to bring somebody in. I really do. Yeah. I think it might be, you know, those you might lose points without bringing some people in and... if you have that same level of inconsistency, you know, imagine Liverpool finishing out of the Champions League spots because they haven't brought in a centre defender. Listen, we all hope Liverpool do very, very well, of course. But I'm thinking worst case scenario, and the worst case scenario is if the league stopped before this game and they finish 5th out of the Champions League, and they lost a significant amount of money, then you'd be ruining the chance that they never brought in a centre defender now. Even somebody on loan, just somebody with a bit of experience, with a bit of Premier League nous, just to help them along. It's not going to be this stopgap for a number of years, but they need help, those players.
Interesting. Look, I know it's raining and you've got a long journey home, particularly you, Macca. We'll let you get away. Thank you very much, guys. Interesting point you make about the centre-half situation. And it's actually what you guys said in here beforehand. This isn't about finding a long-term 5-6 year answer at centre-half. This is about a short-term fix, someone who isn't playing football who can come in and just do a job. You still feel that that's required after tonight?
I think even more so now that Matip's kind of hobbled off the pitch. I was trying to find an argument for Jurgen Klopp when we had this discussion before as to maybe why he was just holding back on it. But Matip he's fallen into that bracket now of that you can't rely on him. He's not putting together the run of games that you would want from a centre-half, so they have to go into the market, to get that cover. If
Jurgen Klopp's not banging down the door of the owner or of the people that make the decisions financially at this football club, I'll be amazed. I think that it's a huge gamble. If they don't invest either to purchase a centre-back or get one on loan, the potential that it could derail their season, because it is. I think it's that important for this team. Like we said before in the build-up to the game, not having these centre-backs in place, it doesn't only affect the centre-back area, but you're taking players out of the midfield area who are integral to this team's success over the last couple of years, putting them into the back line, leaving it a weaker situation in the centre of midfield as well.
Can we talk about the Gareth Bale situation? I mean, again, it's a night where it's a big game and he doesn't start. We've seen him coming on and not impacting games as much as perhaps we would expect. How do you see this playing out now over the next few months?
Yeah, you do worry for him, don't you? I think he's come here and it was a lot of expectation and big things from Real Madrid, and it's just I don't know what's been happening, but he can't be doing it in training. I think Mourinho, similar to the fact that Ndombele, he didn't trust him last season. I don't think he trusts Bale in the big games. I think he's playing him in the Europa and FA Cup games, but he has hardly had a run in the Premier League, and he's gone with the front three has been fantastic. But leaving it so late to bring him on, and Vinicius as well. I'm not quite sure. I have to agree with Glenn. I'm sure why he didn't get a run out tonight.
We were so excited, though. I think all of us would say the same thing. Everyone was. When you hear Bale's coming to the Premier League, it's like, thank goodness for that. He's coming back. Let's see what he's got. What he's done on the big stage and the biggest moments, Champions League finals for Real Madrid, getting his hands on that trophy so many times, and you think he's going to bring all that experience back here. It just hasn't materialised. It's so disappointing.
Is it not there anymore?
I don't know. I think we have to wait for. We're probably going to have to wait till when he eventually goes back to Real Madrid, and Jose Mourinho maybe opens up.
It's inevitable now.
I think he's going to have to do some big things.
I think it's really difficult from our point of view because, we're kind of speculating on maybe how he's feeling. I think from the outside, is the hunger still there is a question that I see when he's on the pitch. Or his legs still there in terms of, that pace, that blistering pace? Is he too worried about all of the injuries that he's accumulated over the years? All of these things will be a factor. But I honestly felt like with the European Championships coming at the end of the year that he would be wanting to go into that for Wales, flying, full of confidence. And I thought that would have been a big momentum kind of thing to gear him up and get him going this year. But maybe just the sitting on the bench, coming on for 10 minutes, sitting on the bench, coming on for 10 minutes thing has just made him go,
if you're him,
I'm not here for this.
If you're him, are you sitting there going, I've come here to play, what's going on? I'm Gareth Bale. Look what I've done.
Has he got the sort of desire to say that? Is he happy sitting on the bench?
That's what I'm saying. I think that's the issue, isn't it? And
can't be.
I don't think he'll be happy to sit on the bench, but he's also with a manager that is not going to accept anything less than what he needs to win titles at this football club. And he's obviously seen something in training in Gareth that's making him go, I don't quite trust you in these types of games. And by the way, it's the same for Vinicius. Vinicius, in my opinion, I'm still yet to see it.
I've not seen it.
I'm still yet to see it. I kind of understand why Jose didn't bring him on the pitch today because, again, he's obviously seen something in training that's making him think, you are not showing me any kind of... You might get there, but in terms of players coming on, like Mora would be first. There's a lot of players that I would bring on.
Well, he had his audition the other day. He played against Wickham.
Oh, Wickham, sorry.
The other day.
Didn't get a kick.
He didn't get a kick in that game either. So he can't be sitting there saying, hold on a minute, I'm not playing. But Gareth Bale, I think, would be different.
The Bale situation is difficult because we played with him when it was unbelievable.
It was
wasn't it? He's gone to Real Madrid and won everything. So everyone was so excited. So it's so bizarre just to see him, left on the bench.
Here's an interesting one, because Glenn said this evening, I'm surprised he's not up to speed yet. I keep on hearing Spurs fans saying, oh, Gareth will soon find his form again. When Gareth's back, when he's been back here as long as he has been and he's recovered from the injury that he came with, you all know the way this works. If he hasn't found form now, is he going to find it? Particularly if he's not playing. You know, what changes between now and the end of the season?
I think it's hard, because I think one of the things he would have come here thinking, the manager's got confidence in me because he wants me here. I wouldn't be here otherwise. But obviously now he's on the bench all the time and it's continued. He'll be then doubting whether the manager has belief in him. I don't care what level of player you are, what you've done, that is sapping of your confidence. And so he's in a position, I think he's coming on the pitch. He looks like he's lacking confidence for me at the moment.
I think, during the time that me and Crouchy were with him, and, times Rio would have played against him, we played in a team where the whole thing was about Gaz, wasn't it? I mean, you just, I'd be on the ball and all you could hear was pass it to Gareth, whoever was on the touchline, it was pass it to Gareth. And he had that confidence, and walking into a team of, I'm the man, give me the ball, and he built it, and he delivered and delivered year after year. And he's come back to a team, that's got Kane, that's got Son, that are delivering as well. My hope was that he was going to walk through the door, trophies in hand, very much like, I'm going to show you lot how to do it type thing, that type of mentality. Follow me. A bit like what I suppose Ronaldo does. When he goes to different clubs and you hear players talking about his mentality and the way that he trains and so on and so forth. My hope was that Gaz was going to come back to Spurs with all that experience of what he's learned at one of the biggest clubs in world football and try and get that into this team. And I'm not seeing it, unfortunately, but that is, the personal stuff around Gareth's life that we don't know about.
Mentality or ability, whether he's lost what he had a bit, or whether it's...
He went through a real tough time at Spurs at one stage, didn't he? I think he was going to get sold to Nottingham Forest, wasn't he? And he couldn't buy a win. He was playing as a left-back, and he sort of overcame that, and then he's become the most decorated player that's ever gone abroad. And, he come back with all that expectation on his shoulders, and for whatever reason, be it fitness, be it lack of form, be it lack of desire that's been thrown at him, it's just not working out at the moment.
OK, we're going to take a break. Do we see a different Gareth Bale, though, if there's fans here?
I believe so, yeah. Yeah, I believe
Feels
so.
like that, doesn't it?
Some people play to entertain an audience. He seems like he's one of them.
OK, well, talking of entertaining an audience, we're going to talk after the break about players who've single-handedly come in and changed a football club. These three have been thinking about who they're going to discuss. What about from you? Get involved in the conversation this evening. #PL Tonight. We're live till 11 o'clock. See you in a couple of minutes.